I would like to begin this session with a large disclaimer. This is the foundation for Elevation Station. And humanity is at a stage right now that we have to see above the veil of illusions. This is the reason for a lot of the chemtrails, part of it, so we are not able to see through the illusion that is. You'll see how that ties in a moment. But my disclaimer to religious followers, people that are not lukewarm with the word of their Creator. And I'm speaking from a stance of your belief, because I may not follow your said belief. There is 6,600 religions on this earth. Maybe even more that we don't know about. But my reason for bringing this up is the firmament. We have been hearing so many conceptions of the firmament. And the firmament is written in one of the most widely religions that we speak about, Christianity, and many more. And although many religious followers turn a blind eye to these notions of a firmament, they will admit that in the first verse, Genesis states right here, and God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters, causing separation between the waters under the vaulted dome." Genesis 1:6, that is. I forget which translation, because I have the King James and the New International Version. I didn't write down which one. Please excuse me. But the good word states a word we know of as firmament. But what does it mean? What does the word firmament mean? Could it mean what the United States government did in the 50s? Please Google it. It's called Operation Fishbowl, where they sent many nuclear weapons, missiles, the best they had at the time, to crack the fishbowl. But they disguised it under some other operation that was tag teamed with Operation Fishbowl. Please Google it up. Where they attempted to crack the fishbowl to get us out of the fishbowl from which we never been outside of it. Yeah, the trips to the moon, the trips to space, the satellites up there seems to be wholeheartedly fictional. This is the reason we always see rockets blast off. And when they blast the rockets off, we see them doing a clear curvature as they're ascending. And they have different words to support why this is. But the truth is, there is, just like in Genesis, a vaulted dome above us. And it's more. In Job 37:18, it states, "Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong and as molten looking glass, What is he talking about? What is he talking about? Let me read that again. Job 37:18. He says, hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong and as molten looking glass. Oh, okay, all right. This was their language at the time they put it together. It could have been 300 years ago. It could have been further. The description is not in today's understanding. Strong, molten looking glass. See, we're able to see through it, and it's molten. Okay, it's really strong. So we see this man, this great man named Elon Musk. In today's date and time, he has sent many rockets up there to crack the firmament. So the last time he did it was in November 2023. That's 2023. He sent a rocket up there, maybe the 3rd week of November, and the rocket had the most up-to-date explosives in it, where he blasted the rocket and it paused and was fixed against the firmament for maybe 4 to 5 seconds, and then it exploded and you could see the electricity, just a new level of explosion. It ain't do nothing to the firmament. It's like we haven't reached the level to do anything to the firmament. And when I say reach the level of technology, our existence gets so deep, and most of us on these lower levels have not much of a clue of how deep and intricate the explanation and story goes behind the firmament and our existence and life in general. But today I'm speaking about the firmament and how it's referred to at many points in our religious books. Which takes me to Ezekiel in the King James Version. So I begin at Ezekiel 1:22, and it says, and the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creatures was the color of the terrible crystal, stretched forth over their heads above. What is he talking about? Sound like what I was just saying. Read it again. And the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creatures was the color of the terrible crystal stretched forth over their heads. A terrible crystal. Like terrible, like monotonous. It's just daunting. It's just terrible crystal. So in the NIV version, it states something like a vaulted, sparkling like crystal and awesome. See, they switched the wording for the NIV version. In the King James version, it says terrible crystal stretched forth over their heads. Terrible crystal. So I guess they wanted to, in the NIV version, wanted to be more positive. They said something like a vaulted, sparkling like crystal and awesome, which is more pleasant. Overhead is vaulting, crystalline like crystal, sparkling like crystal, and awesome. Yeah. Well, Ezekiel in the King James Version goes on in 1:26, and it states, and above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as an appearance of a sapphire stone. And upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as an appearance of a man above upon it. So it was above there was like a throne. So they basically they signifying that it's some type of man, the likeness of a man, appearance of a man, it says, sits above it. Very interesting. Very interesting. And the last reference I was able to find in the Bibles that states clearly reference to the firmament was found in Revelations in King James. Buckle your seatbelt. It says, and before the throne there was a sea of glass like upon crystal, and in the midst of the throne and round about the throne were 4 beasts full of eyes before and behind. Revelations 4:6 in the King James Version. It kind of lost me at the end. I got to look deeper into it, but I'll read it again because it's kind of deep. And before the throne there was a sea of glass, clear reference to the firmament. A sea and the glass, wow, like upon crystal. And in the midst of the throne, round about the throne, were 4 beasts full of eyes before and behind. It's like it's others up there. That's my best understanding. See, God has his throne, but it's beast before and behind waiting to do what needs to be done. Clear reference to actions and things that are taking place inside the firmament are managed. It's so much about creation and what's going on that many people don't clearly understand, or some don't care. Ignorance is bliss, they say. That statement is so true. But it's time for more, for all to know the truth about humanity. Some say I know a little bit more than I'm supposed to know, that I'm supposed to deliver. And it's hard walking that fine line when I understand so many truths. The truth of the matter is, we are inside a firmament for a few many reasons. I urge you to look deeper in things, not into searching for that firmament, because I love to believe that I put the exclamation point on it with this video, but to start examining how our lives are being led and why. Look deep into how many different ways we are being programmed and led, and we have been programmed and led into living our lives a certain way. Think about it. You may be addicted to the ways in which we enjoy our lives, how we seek money, how we do all these pleasurable things to provide a level of comfortability and pleasure. when we clearly don't understand what's going on with the big picture. I encourage you to guide your children to follow me. They deserve a chance not to walk into the footsteps of the bondage that we are in. It's a good day because it's a real, tangible God that's sitting back on that throne. And he wants to see which ones of his greatest children are able to navigate the deceptions. That's the reason he allowed these evil forces that hire a lot of human beings, a lot of evil forces around us, to be lower vibrational, to seek out the ones that are great enough to go and defeat these obstacles and poor behaviors and become an elevated human being. How do we do it? Well, I got enough videos depicting that one, so I don't want to go too deep. Just know that it is so many reasons behind the firmament and what's going on inside the firmament. Let's stop ignoring the facts, because our children, the next generations, deserve a chance not to be outwitted, to living their life without purpose.